a state judge before. This is my first time serving as a national judge for We the People, and so I'm excited to be here, and I'm looking forward to us working through any glitches that might come up.
Hi guys, my name is Tandy McConnell. I was a professor of history at Columbia College in South Carolina for about 20 years. And a few years ago, I decided to do something really different and much harder. And so I started teaching 8th graders in Orangeburg, South Carolina. And I'm sure you remember the 8th grade better than I do. And just sort of put yourself back there and think about that for a minute as we move on. But I am honored and delighted to be here with you. I've been judging We the People for quite some time, and every year the competition seems to get more and more rigorous, and the students seem to get smarter and smarter. So this has just been an exciting day here as we've done this competition in a brand new way. So thank you for the chance to be here with you.
And good afternoon. My name is Barry Anderson. I'm an Associate Justice on the Minnesota Supreme Court. I am the Senior Justice on the court. Basically, that means you hang around for a long time. I've been a member of the court since 2004. I've had the privilege of working in this program both as an assistant coach for a team from Hutchinson, Minnesota that managed to find its way to the national competition for several years. And then for the last many years, actually, I've had the opportunity to serve as a judge at this national competition. And I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to be with you here today. I know that we all wish that the circumstances were somewhat different and had gone in a slightly different direction. But as Winston Churchill once observed in one of his speeches in the middle of World War II, April of 1942, difficulties mastered are opportunities won, and we're going to master our difficulties today and win those opportunities. And it's going to be a great conversation about important issues dealing with the Constitution and the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and in this particular case, the Declaration of Independence. So let's begin by having you introduce yourselves and your coaches and teachers, and we will look forward to meeting everyone.
Good evening. My name is Preston Lievano, and my favorite philosopher is John Locke, due to his ideas of life, liberty, and a state, which were later asserted by Thomas Jefferson in the Declaration of Independence.
Hello, my name is Jasmine Tran. My favorite philosopher is Baron de Montesquieu for his idea on separated branches of government in his book, The Spirit of Laws.
Hello, my name is Luke Oriolt. My favorite philosopher is John Stuart Mill for his works regarding liberty, utilitarianism, and gender equality.
Good afternoon, judges. My name is Dane Bowman-Weston, and my favorite philosopher is Socrates for his views on an educated voter body. On behalf of Tahoma School District, our advisor Gretchen Wolfing, and Unit 1, we thank you for judging us this afternoon.
And we are delighted to have that opportunity. So let's turn to the question that we have been asked to have a conversation about today. We find it in Unit 1. What are the philosophical and historical foundations of the American political system? And the inquiry that we are focused on directly is question 3. Aristotle asserts in Politics that it is not the form of government, ruled by the one, the few, or the many, that matters most, but rather the ends of government that are most important. Where in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution did the framers set forth the ends of government? How did the framers differ, if at all, about the ends of government, about how the ends of government should be prioritized, and which of the ends of government set forth in the Declaration and Constitution appear to have the highest priority today? If you're ready to move forward, we are ready to listen, and we look forward to your statement. You may begin.
Man is by nature a political animal. Aristotle's Politics.
Charles Edward Merriam named America's ends of government as follows: external security, internal order, justice, general welfare, and freedom.
These ends both advance and restrain the United States government, but most importantly, they give birth to the unified goals for the country and its people.
During the creation of our nation, the framers worked to ingrain these ends into the government they were framing through the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution.
As he wrote the Declaration, Thomas Jefferson outlined a clear notion of the importance of welfare for the people of a nation, concluding that the principles and powers should be built to protect their safety and happiness. He also emphasized a fight for freedom, stating that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states.
Through his writing, Jefferson succeeded in asserting freedom as America's most crucial end of government. The Declaration of Independence serves as an outline of what the people wanted and needed in a government, while the Constitution outlined how those ends would be achieved.
For example, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 1 outlines Congress's responsibility to provide for the common defense and general welfare.
The Constitution also creates internal order through the state relations described in Article 4 and provides justice through Article 3's outline of judiciary power.
These ends of government remain constant to the American people, but continuously grow through the process of the Constitution.
The priority of the ends of government varied between the framers, becoming evident during the ratification of the Constitution with the differing views of the Federalist and Anti-Federalist.
In agreement with the Anti-Federalists, George Mason had initially rejected the Constitution since it lacked a Bill of Rights and failed to pursue the rights outlined in the Declaration of Independence, especially freedom and general welfare.
In addition to Mason, Thomas Jefferson went as far as to say that a Bill of Rights are what the people are entitled to, and what no just government should refuse or rest on inference.
However, Alexander Hamilton supported the Federalist belief in a strong central government. He insisted on strong external security, internal order, and justice as necessary foundations for the United States to stand on the world stage.
Despite their disagreements, the framers went forward with the ratification of the Constitution in order to form a more productive and protective nation. Today, the ends of government that are the highest priority are external security and general welfare.
Throughout the 2016 presidential election, immigration was a notable topic of discussion as candidate Trump urged for heightened security at the southern border. The main concern was illegal immigration into the U.S. from Central and South America.
However, Democratic candidates opposed his methods, including Senator Bernie Sanders, who argued that a wall was unnecessary. Instead, they proposed providing more rights to incentivize illegal immigration, similar to President Obama's executive memo in 2012 for DACA that allowed children who were illegal immigrants deferred action and work visas.
Additionally, in regard to general welfare, we can see concerns for health in our current times with the fight against the COVID-19 outbreak. As a result, many states, such as Washington and California, have asked their citizens to stay at home if they are not essential workers in order to stall the spread of the virus.
Congress has also taken action to help those who are currently unemployed by creating a $2 trillion stimulus package that expands unemployment coverages and offers stimulus payments for those who qualify.
As the country encounters new and complex issues, the government continues to prioritize the well-being of its citizens.
The purpose of a government is to enable the people of a nation to live in safety and happiness. Thomas Jefferson.
Without a concern for the ends of government, a democracy cannot successfully function and provide for its people.
All right, let me begin with a question about Aristotle. We started with Aristotle. Let's go there to begin. Looking at the progressive innovations of the last 75 years or so, initiative, referendum, and recall come immediately to mind. Would Aristotle have approved of those innovations or disapproved of those innovations? Why or why not?
Aristotle asserts in Politics that justice can only be achieved when people know rule of law. However, he also argues that the common citizen doesn't understand nor has the incentive to understand rule of law, and therefore argues that it should be left up to a small group of people rather than the general will of the people in total. So I would argue that Aristotle would not approve of initiative and referendum by the people.
In addition to this, we can see how Aristotle believed in homogeneous groups of people and how they most likely think together. In Washington State alone, Article 2, Section 1A through D of our Washington State Constitution allows for this initiative and referendum process.
To disagree with my colleagues, I believe that Aristotle would support this idea because of how it differs on each individual state. In Book 4 of Aristotle's Politics, he actually describes how a statesman must look at states both in the abstract and what is realistic and how they differ at the individual level. So in between each states, for example, Washington having an initiative and referendum process, but another state not, he would support this idea because of how they differ on a state level.
Tandy, let's move to you for the next question.
Okay, very quick question. What ends of government are being met by the economic stimulus bill and by providing unemployment insurance for displaced workers?
I believe that one vital end of government that is being met through these stimulus packages and through unemployment as well would be general welfare. It is helping people who cannot and are not essential workers and go out to do their work. They allow them to have a financial means during this time when we're asked to stay at home.
In addition to this, 2 days ago, President Donald Trump signed in more than $400 million into giving smaller businesses more opportunities to be able to thrive. I agree with my colleague Jasmine in saying this helps the general welfare, as it not only helps boost the economy, but also giving these smaller businesses a chance to thrive in this growing times.
I would also argue that it supports the idea of internal order, as if we keep the economy going, small businesses continue to function. This would continue to have people being able to go to work, continuing the order of our nation that we thrive upon.
This can also be seen as to benefit the end of government of justice, whereas it is helping small businesses who may not be able to support themselves during this time.
Thank you.
Okay. My question for you folks is for the founders. One of the ends of a federal republic is to avoid the most common faction, that between the rich and the poor. How effective has the US Constitution been in this regard?
In Federalist 10, James Madison saw the problem with factions, how these growing majorities could take over the rural minorities. And today, this current climate, I believe that this issue is being addressed, especially during the coronavirus outbreak, tying this back to our last question, by President Donald Trump signing in more than $400 million to smaller businesses. This is helping business, especially the smaller ones, get exactly what they need.
Aristotle asserts in Politics that the main issue with democracy is its inability to provide equality due to the fact that the poor outnumber the rich and would often overrule them in any state where they may be voting over a certain issue. I believe that the United States has done a really good job in fixing this issue due to their democratic republic rather than a full democracy or a true democracy, whereas we have electorates that do our elections for us rather than us directly voting in our members of office.
To disagree with my colleagues, I believe that America has failed in the sense of keeping the divide between and the poor. For example, if we look to the Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission, where they allowed big money to be allowed in politics during the elections, this in terms kind of destroys the kind of the blend that they want between the rich and the poor, and creates big not only partisan walls but also economic walls between these two groups of people.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the role of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution in setting the ends of government. And I would point to Lincoln's Cooper Union speech and his Gettysburg Address, where he goes to the Declaration, not the Constitution, in terms of limiting the expansion of slavery. And I'd like to have you talk about that as an end of as a government goal, and whether it's the Declaration or Constitution that should control there.
I believe that the Constitution outlines how the government may protect or assert the ends, but the Declaration of Independence specifically outlines those ends. Whereas in the Declaration of Independence, it states if the government becomes destructive at those ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. We can see with your specific example of slavery, they believed that the government had been destructive at the end, that it wasn't providing justice for all of its citizens. So they altered it in a way that allowed people of color to gain or progress the rights of people of color.
In addition to this, we can look back to John Locke's Two Treatises of Government, which he first asserted that all mankind, being equal and independent, have right to life, liberty, and possessions. This can be seen today, later interpreted by Thomas Jefferson, Declaration of Independence, where he really asserted a legitimate government and saying that no government could take these rights, inalienable rights, away.
So would Aristotle have approved of our current balance between democracy and republicanism? We're a broad democracy, but we also protect the institution. Would Aristotle have approved of how well we're doing that?
I'm sorry, Tandy, but it's time.
It always is. No time for Aristotle.
All right, we'll have to get along without him. Let me just say how much I enjoyed our exchange today here. The discussion of Aristotle that I sort of kicked us off with, I thought was really well done, and I was very interested. And it was so well done, in fact, that I thought I'd come back to what I think is a very difficult question, which is this issue of how Lincoln approaches the slavery issue in the late 1850s and then into the Civil War. And there are books that are written about this topic, and I'm asking you this question as to what category it fits into, the Declaration or the Constitution. And I thought you did a really good job there. You go back and you look at what Frederick Douglass has to say about it, and he points to the Constitution, which he calls the glorious liberty document. And of course, you get arguments from other people about the provisions in the Constitution that, in terms of the ends of government, seem to be supportive of the slavery as an institution. And so it's a very complicated topic, and I thought you handled it really well. You've got a good grasp of the material, and if that little bell thing that was ringing there, that was my fault. If you heard that, my apologies. I'm the one that talked about we're going to conquer the technology, and I led to the problem. But anyway, so it goes sometimes. Great performance. Thanks very much. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Great discussion. You have truly mastered some very incredibly complicated issues that there's a reason we continue arguing about them, because there's no clear answer. I asked you about the ends of government, and you made a clear argument. Okay, we can look at it different ways, but here we are, and here we are at a crucial time for understanding this. We will interpret these issues differently next year than we are this year because of where we are right now. And so it's and as you go on to interpret the Constitution for yourselves in different ways and deciding for whom you will vote and what political parties you will become part of and support, then the experiences you're having right now and the decisions you're making now will determine the future of the entire country. So really enjoyed being part of that discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I can't say it's my favorite part because I enjoyed the conversation greatly, but starting with your favorite political philosopher and why was just so much fun for me. So thanks for that. I thought you all, like my colleagues, did a terrific job, and I could have spent more time for sure listening to you all talk about how you maybe think the ends of good government have changed over time, and how you as young people facing COVID-19 crisis right now, how you're thinking through what they should look like in the future. But alas, our time is limited. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.